Protect yourself and your family from unexpected challenges. Consider accident-only income protection. Click the link in the description to find out more.
Boxing King Media in association with SaveMoreMoney.com. If you need a motor vehicle breakdown cover or any sort of insurance to cover your health needs, hit the link in the description. I just wanted to get that out there, Joe, before we start speaking.
Yeah, no problem. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, it is. Before we get talking, obviously you've got a busy week coming up, a busy couple of weeks coming up. You've got some big fights. I just want to ask you, as a coach, we kind of saw you emerge in the last 3-4 years. A lot of big fighters have joined your gym, a lot of big names. How are you finding your own journey? And did you expect it to kind of move this quickly?
Yeah, it's not a difficult one, but one that I think, I was meant to be on. And it's happened organically, Gull, I think I never expected to be where I am, but I've put the hours in. I work hard along with me fellow coaches in here. It's not just me working on. Yeah, what can I say? I'm in a gifted position and loving every minute of it. I'm boxing through and through to the core, and yeah, it's magnificent. I'm in a happy place, and what a privilege it is to work with a selected few of gifted fighters. Loving it, mate. Yeah.
Just from a fan's point of view, when you drop on people like Josh Taylor, Gary Cully recently, obviously got Shannon Courtney as well, you've got a kid coming over from Cuba, I'm missing loads of guys out there, but you must sense from other people in boxing that you getting all these big name fighters coming to your gym. Do you feel like there's pressure on you to make sure these guys are performing, and if something goes wrong, the eyes are on you a bit more? Did you sense any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that's another. It's
like the pressure I'm kind of talking about.
Yeah. So I don't really have no pressure. No, I see boxing for what it is, and the guys I've working with, some of them have come off good victories. Some have come through controversial ones, some of them have come off losses, and I look at the fighters and sort of think, can I help you? Are we going to work together? And there's always a good trial period and conversations away from the gym, a plan of action, where we think we should go, who we fight, and it's not as easy, but yeah, the only really pressure you get really is if you're into the social media platforms, and there's a lot of people putting certain coaches in certain brackets and certain this, because there is an old saying in the book, it's fighters win, coaches lose, and we're in a gifted situation in this country, in the UK, where we're just littered with fantastic coaches, from young ones to your veteran coaches, so to say, and yeah, there's no pressure, mate, but look, as long as it's a good relationship and they put the work in the gym, and the hours are put in from myself and my fellow coaches, I can see not on them being victorious. And if they do that and they don't win, you've got to take hat off to your opponent and give them the kudos. That's the top and bottom of it.
Boxing's a very harsh business, as we saw recently with Tyson Fury. Obviously you've experienced it with Josh Taylor, when when a decision goes your way but the fans aren't happy with it, you get the backlash. Obviously you've had some good wins as well, but you're coming off on the back end of obviously Liam Smith, the Josh Taylor loss with Teofimo, two big high profile losses. Have you felt like how you kind of found that experience, from where everything goes from positive to negative?
I'd say, as much as the negativity that come off it and the two fights, there's one thing that I've took off it is massive experience in, number one, the fights shouldn't have happened in the first place. Have I been a bit naive enough to go through with it? Because I ain't here for the money. I'm a winner. I like to win. And could them two fighters turn back the clock and so to say, listen to me, and not take the fights, postpone them, whatever, I think they would. Would have I done things differently? Would have I walked away from them fights? Maybe so. But you stated then, you know, it is a business at the end of the day, and sometimes the fighters ain't going to walk away from them because the kind of money that they're getting paid, if bigger to what the general public perceives it as, is them wages very rarely come. But coming off the back of 2 defeats, I'll always take the, you know, it on the chin. But experience it's give me for the future with me other fighters. There's certain things I won't go ahead with fights with, and I've drawn the line. So it's been a positive thing also for me, if that makes sense.
I got you. So you kind of learnt something positive out of it, how you deal with stuff in the future. And obviously, I've said you've got some big names. Is there any other fighters that the fans may not have heard of that you can kind of highlight from your gym that they need to keep an eye out for?
Yeah, you know, I've had, you know, young Frankie Stringer. He's managed off Liam Smith. He's fought on a few all of his fights have been on high profile cards, and he's a magnificent talent. He's off the you know, Frankie's getting a bit of popularity and he's developing a good fan base. He's off the squads of Dennis McCann, young Adam Azim, them type of thing. He's a bit maturity wise, his physical maturity is a little bit behind them too, but once he gets that, he's a fantastic talent, and I think he's really going to burst on the scene this next 18 months. Frankie, I'm really excited for that kid. I've known him since he was a baby. I've worked with him now for 18 months solid, and he's coming along real nice. I've got young Jack Turner. He's just turned professional, 21 years old. He's 3-0 now, 3 first round KOs, and you know, what a magnificent talent. He's a rough diamond, but you talk boxing with the kid, there's nothing he doesn't know, and it's his life. And he's like a Scouse Prince Nazim, the style which people haven't seen yet. They're my 2 young guns, and now I'm also working with a young Cuban kid, Eddie Hearn. He's a bit more advanced than them, but he is a baby still. He's only 21 years old. He was due to fight Yuri Gamboa, but I don't think Gamboa really fancies the fight, coming off the loss of Isaac Cruz, but one that would be ideal for Heidi. But he's in Liverpool. He's 12-0. He's a good kid, super featherweight, and yeah, you know, and then a little bit older than them, there's your Gary Cully's, young Kevin Ajako. 2 of them have got very important fights coming up, and there's big Darren Till. He's having a go. He's looking on fighting a few of the celebrity names, so to say. He should do, but it's thriving, mate. Yeah, it's thriving.
You touched on Kevin Ajako there. I wanted to ask you, you know, this situation with him where, you know, Eddie Hearn came out, was quite vocal about the fact that he said, well, if you're not fighting Troy Williamson, you know, I'm happy to let go of fighters. Obviously, we heard from Kevin, we heard from Eddie Hearn, but, you know, you as a trainer in that situation, how did you find that whole experience as that was kind of unfolding itself? I know Kevin's ended up fighting Troy now, but how did you find that unfolding?
I don't really look, listen to what Eddie says. Obviously, you've got to listen. If the promoters want something off you, they've got to work with the managers in this. So how it dwindles down is the promoters talk to the managers. They'll devise opponents, options. It depends how good the manager is. And then the manager will go to the fighter will come to their coach. So we're sort of the last people that, you know, get the nod. So when it comes to Troy, I know Troy very well. He's got a fantastic setup and coaching, Craig Carney. He's a fantastic fighter, and Kevin's 13-0 now. He's come down from a fantastic setup with Al Smith and Eddie Lamb. But he's completed, you know, I think 3 or 4 scheduled 4-rounders that have gone the distance. So, and people looked at it as a negative way, but he knows he can do the rounds. He's slowly stepped up the levels, slowly, gradually, and Matchroom wanted the Troy fight, and I spoke to Kevin about the Troy fight, and the only thing the kid said is, because he come here, and as soon as we got going, he busted his hand sparring. So we went and had the operation on the hand, then he come back for the Grant Dennis fight, but he come back too soon for that fight. He wanted to be on the big show in Ireland, you know, the Katie Taylor bill, and over there with him being Irish, and I said to him, this ain't the fight for you, you know, you need a lot more time in the gym to test the hand to do this, but he went ahead with it, and I never done his corner for that fight because no other than James Metcalf was fighting for the IBO title after it, so he took away with that fight. He won every round, and he got a bit of stick for it. And Eddie and that, literally, the promoters want to see if he's got the goods to step up. And I had a lot of, when they come and I see him back and forth on a bit of social media, he was taking a little bit of shit, and I just said to him, look, it's a magnificent fight for you. I think, you know, we know what Troy is. Troy knows what you are. But if this is a fight for him to see if he's got the minerals and the goods, I know what I see in the gym. All I've got to do is transfer it to the arena, and I think it's a magnificent fight for him. And I seen the backlash he got, and his only thing was, I just want one more full camp with my coach, because we had as I've stated, the Dennis Hobson fight, but he done his hand in, so that went, and then he come back on a crash camp for Grant Dennis. There was no really technical work in the camps. It was, you know, and he didn't need a lot of technical work, as every fighter does. So that was his only argument, and without being nasty either, he wanted more money. For the simple fact is, he was the A-side on the card, which he still is, and he was getting less, if not the same, money as Troy, which he weren't happy with, and that's just the fact out there. But we had the conversation, and I think it's a perfect step up for him. I think it's a genuine 50-50 fight, but one he's worked super hard for, and he should be super confident in it. Yeah.
You know, from Eddie Hearn's point of view, because one of the things that he kind of put out there from this situation was that he felt that, you know, he's given a lot of fighters, you know, gimme fights where they have a run out, and you know, from his perspective, if he's willing to lose fighters, do you think as a promoter, and obviously I know you're not a promoter, but do you think he makes a valid point where if you've had like 1 or 2 run outs, you've got to jump in, and if you're not willing to do that, he's willing to part ways? It's a ruthless business.
Yeah, it is a ruthless business, and Eddie sees it for that. But there's one thing about Eddie Hearn is, he does know boxing, and he does know what he's talking about. There's an old thing in the game, you know, 10 for learning, 10 for earning. And I truly believe that's right still. But other kids do take that little bit longer, some less. Now, I think he identified, well, you know, Keevan's had XYZ amount of learning. Well, let's see if you can do it. But he's in a grand position where he's just got a hotbed of talent all around the world. So he can afford to drop you. But one thing I can say about Eddie Hearns, and I know it takes a lot of shit off a lot of people and stuff like that, is, I've had it with my own fighters. If you fight and you put in a performance and don't come away with the victory, he will still get you out again. That's a fact. And he's proven with it. I think he's took a bit of a leaf out of the Dana White UFC type of shit. You know, you go out, you're a top world level performer, you turn up, you're a good fighter. He's going to give you comeback fights even if you do lose and this, that. And that's the way boxing should be. Too much emphasis on this unbeaten record palaver, and, you know, he's just like, it shouldn't be like that. A loss doesn't define a fighter. It's how you come back, and, you know, throughout your career, your whole structure, you know, how you get on, and then let the general public and the boxing enthusiast define when you retire what type of fighter you was.
I think you put that nicely there, Joe. The last thing I want to speak to you about is you will have watched the Fury and Ngannou fight at the weekend, and I draw comparisons to when Josh beat Jack Catterall, and obviously there was a huge backlash online. People are saying Jack should have won. We've seen something similar with Tyson Fury. Obviously, again, from a coach's perspective, how do you think that must have been for maybe Sugar Hill to deal with that, just from the backlash, etc. But then the interesting part is I've also spoke to other people, like Paulie Malignaggi, Dominic Ingle, Teddy Atlas, the names that come to my head. Them three had Tyson winning 7 rounds out the 10. So just putting that into perspective.
First and foremost, I think Tyson pissed the fight. I really do. I think people were shocked that the whole thing was Tyson a play with him. Touch him up and then take him out of there. Not regarding, these men in the MMA world, K1 world, they're tough motherfuckers, and they're not the best strikers in the world because it's in the name, they're mixed martial artists, but they're tough cunts, and these are getting elbowed and kicked in the head, and for them, they're concentrating on one dimension, which is only getting it with the hands. And I don't think a lot of people give the credit Ngannou is going to be as tough as he is, because they thought it was just going to be a complete annihilation job. On Tyson's behalf, Sugar Hill I can feel for, but you've really got to expect this also, because he's not a boxer. We're talking about the leading heavyweight champion in the world, and he's gone through the motions sort of thing with a UFC fighter on his debut, and it's did he have no motivation? Did he underestimate Ngannou a little bit? I don't know them factors. Only Tyson I know that. Only Sugar Hill I tell you that. But one thing I've never seen anyone saying is Tyson playing possum. The knockdown weren't the heaviest knockdown, I think, but he's a clever man, I'll tell you that. And he will not be that same Tyson that I fight Usyk, He'll put the extra hours in. He was very heavy for the, as you stated yourself, he's very heavy for the Ngannou fight. Was he slacking on his running? Was he,
19.7, I think he was, something like that.
Yeah, and I think Tyson's optimum weight, as you stated before, is around, the mid-18s, but that extra stone it's like having a monkey on your back, you're going to feel it, especially Tyson's style. He moves like a middleweight, and his style is based on a lot of movement and creating angles and darting in and out and stuff, and that extra stone will tell, but only they can tell you in camp. But look, at the end of the day, he's robbed the bank, and he's a marvel, isn't he? He's walked away. He's a rich man anyway, but he's walked away a lot richer, and he's going to the Usyk fight's still there, and I wouldn't look nothing into that Ngannou fight regarding the Usyk one.
And he said he pissed the fight. Do you mean pissed as in the sense he won the fight, or he gave it away?
Yeah, that's my ghost kicking in. Yeah, he pissed the fight. Yeah, I think he won the fight convincingly. Yeah, I think he won. 7-8 rounds out to 10, and a lot of people got their opinions, but that's fine. It's even the knockdown. It won't even hurt it. He weren't even really hurt. He's been in with bigger punches than Ngannou, and that's a little thing, because I know Tyson's very clever outside of the ring, as well as he's very intelligent in the ring. I was thinking, is he playing a game here? I don't know, but look, he won the fight convincingly for me, yeah.
Joe, as always, it's been a pleasure. Anything else you want to add before I let you go?
No, just obviously it's a pleasure speaking to yourself, and I've got an exciting few weeks coming up, and just for all the casual fans out there, just remember them names: Jack Turner, Frankie Stringer and Heidi Herrera, 3 fantastic kids, and excited, and God bless me. Yeah, thank you.
Joe Mcnally, hello, as always, thank you very much.
Have you ever been stranded on the side of a motorway with a broken down car? Like me, is that something that worries you? That's where motor breakdown insurance comes in. If your vehicle breaks down, a trained professional will be sent out to get you back on the road. Or if this is not possible within the specified time frame, to transport you to your home or to the nearest garage.